Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Anime Sundays, the show where we talk about anime on Sundays. And today we will be reviewing the winners of the Crunchyroll Anime Awards of 2024. Yeah, so if you know how these reviews go, we're going to go through every category, every winner, and I'm going to tell you if I agree, disagree, or my thoughts on the whole subject. Let's get right into it. All right, Anime of the Year, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Everybody clap it up. Not bad, not bad. I feel like if you were really fully shocked about this nomination or this award, you really aren't paying attention to what's going on in the culture. Jujutsu Kaisen was one of the most talked about new gens since like Demon Slayer, My Hero, when they first dropped. And we all know when they first dropped, they helped change the tide of how many people even watched anime. So the fact that people are shocked that JJK won all these awards, I'm like, of course, like it's been one of the most impactful new gens like for a minute. So definitely not shocked at it at all. I see in the nomination we have Chainsaw Man, Vinland Saga, Demon Slayer. I haven't watched Oshi no Ko or Bocchi the Rock. Demon Slayer Swordsman's Village arc was great, but I still don't even think it was better than the arc with Tengen. And yes, Vinland Saga Season 2 was great, but you have to remember that nowadays, since more anime fans are gravitating towards shonen, some of these signing messages aren't going to hit as hard as a lot of the shonen messages. Vinland Saga, even though it's a great story, has great themes, great messages, of course a lot of people aren't gonna vote for it. And I feel like when you have a show that has to dive deeper into its meaning for the audience, it's gonna miss a lot of people. Okay, next up we have Best Original Anime, Buddy Daddies. Never heard of it, but I heard people say it was really good. Looking at these nominations, I actually haven't heard of a lot of these anime, so maybe I'm sleeping myself, but hey, congratulations to them. Don't necessarily disagree. Best Character Design, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Now here, I think you can give it to JJK just off the strength of, I believe that like Maharaga is one of the craziest character designs we've seen in a minute. Of course, we have Hell's Paradise, which has some great character designs as well, but I also feel like there was a couple little copycat characters in there from other popular shonen, so I can see how that really didn't catch it. And then of course, Demon Slayer character design, I mean, you only really got a handful of new characters, and besides upper four, everybody else was something we've already kind of seen for Demon Slayer's type of stature or status. All right, moving on, we have Best Animation, Demon Slayer. I see a lot of hate for this. Yes, this wasn't maybe the greatest Demon Slayer animated arc. We all know that when it comes to Ufotable, it's almost impossible to up them in what they do, which is like, or what they're known for, which is their crisp and clean animation. I know people are hating on the CGI, but I actually felt like Demon Slayer was the only anime I felt like the CGI wasn't bad. I actually was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then, you know, even with Tanjiro and the thunder breathing and Mitsuri, Nezuko, everybody doing their thing. Yes, One Piece JJK had some crazy fights and some crazy animations, but a lot of the times, some people don't like the way the One Piece fights or the JJK fights are animated to a certain extent. Some people think they're rushed, people think they're a little too goofy. Ufotable, you get crisp, clean, movie style animation almost every panel, and it's kind of like you really can't beat that when it comes to that category. I see Attack on Titan here and Mob Psycho and even Trigun in this nomination category. Trigun, I mean, there was a lot of CGI in that as well, even though they did have some great new fights, but I wouldn't give it to them. Chainsaw Man, they had a couple heat moments, but nothing crazy. Now, Mob, I could maybe agree with a couple of these fights being better than what we've seen in Demon Slayer, but again, Demon Slayer's consistency with the animation style is really what always takes the cake. And Attack on Titan was greatly animated as well, but I felt like the fights personally, they didn't really focus too much on, so I could see why they would go with Demon Slayer. I'm really not too mad at that. I'm pretty sure I voted for Mob though. Okay, next up we have Best New Series, Chainsaw Man. I'm gonna disagree here and think that Hell's Paradise to me was the better new series. I just felt like it was a lot more at stake. I felt like the story was more interesting. I know Chainsaw Man, the manga, has a lot of hype and we know it's gonna be a really great new gen. Before it's season 1, I wasn't super locked in. I didn't think it was the greatest opening season, but I definitely thought Hell's Paradise, especially like an anime that or a manga that most people really haven't heard of, coming in as hot as it did, definitely probably deserved to take this. Zom 100, I felt like it had a great start, but the way the animation studios kept delaying episodes and nobody knew if they was coming back, that does impact how people view the overall season. I do think, you know, it could have been one of the best to drop, but how the studio did it, yeah, I could see why it had to fall off. But I would here choose Hell's Paradise. All right, now we have Best Cinematography, JJK Season 2. Now, we know when it comes to cinematography, a lot of the colors and the overall direction is involved. I felt like in terms of fights, they had a lot of the best cinematography, but here I would probably give this to like Vinland Saga. I think Vinland Saga cinematography wise is like one of their aces in the hole. You know, again, Vinland Saga definitely was robbed for not having any awards won, but I think here definitely could have been a good one to take the cake. Attack on Titan has some beautiful cinematography too, especially the first part of the final season with the rumbling and everything, especially how dark they made it. But yeah, I would disagree with JJK here. I would either go Attack on Titan or Vinland Saga Season 2 for sure. Okay, Best Art Direction, Demon Slayer. A lot of these categories are so close in similarity that it's kind of hard to differentiate. But I guess if you're focusing more on like the animation and the art style and like how crisp or how well focused it is, I can see how Demon Slayer took it. I probably still would go with Hell's Paradise. I feel like their art was a little bit more pleasing to me, but I can see how Demon Slayer took that there. Not too mad at that. Also, Zom 100 has some really good art style, especially in that beginning first episode, but I can see how they went with that, especially if they went with the animation being overall better as well. Okay, Best Slice of Life, Bocchi the Rock. I mean, I don't really watch too many Slice of Lives. Looking at some other contestants here, I haven't seen any of these, so, you know, hey, Best Slice of Life goes to them, you know. Best Continuing Series, One Piece. Now, you know, I don't have much to say about this. Of course, I feel like One Piece is the best continuing series. I feel like it's always been the best continuing series. That's why it's always this hype for this long. Attack on Titan, you know, y'all are right there. Spy Family, y'all are right there. All these are good nominations. But when it comes to the GOAT, the greatest, you know where I stand. I honestly feel like One Piece should have been anime of the year, but obviously they're not gonna have continuing animes in that category. So I get it, right? Because, you know, One Piece could probably win anime of the year almost every time. So I'm not too mad. All right, Best Opening Sequence, Best Opening Song. Where Are Blue is JJK, Hidden Inventory. I felt like their second half of their song was a little better, and I also felt like Hell's Paradise song was a little better, so I would disagree here. I would go Hell's Paradise, Work, or even Zom 100 Song of the Dead I felt like was better. I felt like they should have chose JJK's, you know, You Are My Special, you know, everybody loves that one. So Best Ending Sequence, again, you know me, I'm not a huge ending and opening sequence person anyway. I can understand how popularity took this for real. I think I would probably go maybe Spy Family here from what I remember. But yeah, JJK winning both those fields just for the Hidden Inventory arc. Yeah, I don't feel like their opening ending sequence were that crazy. But hey, what do I know? Best Score, Attack on Titan. Out of everything on this list, yeah, I can see why Attack on Titan took that. Maybe the next best thing would have been Suzume. I did hear a lot of great things about the music score in that movie. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see it, so it wouldn't be that popular to vote for. And maybe Demon Slayer would have been a close second or third. But I'm not mad at that. I feel like that would probably make more sense. Best Film, Suzume. Now, I didn't even see Suzume myself. I did hear really good things about it. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like The Sword of the Wizard King, especially since we didn't have any Black Clover content at all damn near this year, I felt like that would have been my choice. I love that movie from the jump. I mean, they had a lot of great action going from it straight into it. We saw some old Wizard Kings. We saw a young Yami. We saw a lot of things that was just feeding into the great lore of Black Clover. Again, I haven't seen any of these other movies. I'm sure even the first Slam Dunk was really good as well. But you know me, I'm a Black Clover fan. I would have went with Black Clover. But shout out Suzume as well. Best Anime Song. Again, I'm not a big opening or ending person. Shouts out to Idol from Oshinoko. I'm not too mad at that. You know, maybe you could have gave it to Chainsaw Man or Hell's Paradise, but shout outs to Oshinoko. All right, Best Director, Shota Goshizono, right, for JJK Season 2. Out of everything on this list, the only person I think but might have had better directing is Yuichiro Hayashi for Attack on Titan. There was some really well directed moments in JJK, especially with Mahito and Nobara, and of course like the sad deaths that we had, but I felt like a lot of it was also rushed. So I felt like with Attack on Titan, they really took their time. Well, of course, because all they had was time. They, stretched the final season out for years. At the very least, that should have went to them. Again, JJK taking this doesn't surprise me. All right, best main character. I mean, it's really no surprise. I'll be really shocked. Monkey D. Luffy is arguably one of the greatest anime characters of all time. He's always been one of the best main characters in his generation and the generations after him. He's one of the best characters in One Piece. A close second would have been Thorfinn. Thorfinn's character development is unprecedented. We really see a lot of realism in Thorfinn. Eren Yeager as well, even though I'm not a big Eren Yeager fan. But if it wasn't Luffy, I would have chose Mob. I think Mob's character development is super slept on. The things he does as a main character is super slept on. I feel like the whole anime is super slept on still, but he would have been the only other person I chose. Shouts out my GOAT, Monkey D. Luffy. All right, best supporting character, Gojo Satoru. Yeah, I mean, this makes a lot of sense. The only other person I would have chose is Reagan. I feel like Reagan's a very slept on supporting character. He is like really helping to carry Mob to the level that he needs to be as a main character and a sidekick and all that good stuff. So I think we're sleep on Reagan as well. But I mean, Gojo damn near makes JJK. Like without Gojo, I feel like half the people wouldn't even watch the show. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he took this. Hange is great as well. Geto was great. Power is great. Actually, I don't even like Power that much, at least now. But yeah, I would have either went with Reagan or Hange if Gojo wasn't there. Must protect at all costs. Anya Forger. Love Anya, think she's great. I am still giving this to Boji. I think Boji is just one of those characters that we don't see really in almost any hindsight. Like he's very unique. Not only is a character that you feel like you must protect, but he's a character that protects himself, protects his kingdom, and actually contributes way more to the show than Anya does to hers. So of course you have these other candidates, but I'm team Boji all day. Love Anya, but I think it should have been Boji. Best action, JJK. I mean, yeah, this makes sense. Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc is very slept on. Glad it got a nomination. I feel like even the fights in Bleach still weren't as intense as JJK, because in Bleach, you knew that Yuabak is just gonna stomp everybody pretty much. So you kind of got that message from the jump. So I get that it didn't really have maybe the best action per se. The only other nomination I would have taken over this is One Piece. The whole Roof Onigashima Gear 5, it really is a masterpiece. Like Roof Piece is really one of the greatest sub arcs in an arc we've ever seen, but I can understand that JJK was super action focused. One Piece did have some slow moments. The pace kind of switched up here and there. I probably would have went with One Piece if it wasn't JJK. Best comedy, Spy Family. I feel like this is cap. I feel like Mashla is way funnier than Spy Family. I'm not gonna lie. Season 1 already had me crying. Season 2 is just as funny. Yes, Anya's jokes and there's little funny moments of Spy Family, but I definitely think that MASH was kind of robbed here. Not only is it a funny anime, it's just super interesting all the time. So I feel like they should win with MASH. All right, best drama, Attack on Titan. Out of everything on this list, I probably would go Attack on Titan. Vinland Saga Season 2 is on this list as well. But I mean, when you're talking about the final season, part 1, the rumbling is in full effect. Like, everything is really hitting the fan. The main character is about to get murked. Yeah, I'm going with best drama, Attack on Titan. Best fantasy, Demon Slayer. Here, I feel like as a fantasy, yes, Demon Slayer is more popular, but I would have went with Hell's Paradise. I feel like Hell's Paradise whole setting was like a lot more fantastical than we've seen in a while. Gives off a super way more fantasy vibe. Of course, you got Jobless Reincarnation Season 2 on here, which I didn't like at all. And of course, you have Ranking of Kings. But again, I feel like even Ranking of Kings isn't super fantasy style, kind of just old age magic style a little bit. And then of course you have Mashla, but Mashla really is like a Harry Potter duplicate, so I can see why I didn't win that. But I would have went with Hell's Paradise over Demon Slayer here. All right, best romance. Again, I don't really watch romance anime, so we got Horimiya. I mean, shout out to them. I don't really know about these candidates, so we're gonna move on. All right, so for these voice actors, we're just gonna do Japanese and English because I don't watch the other ones. Best Japanese voice actor, Gojo from JJK. His name is Yuichi Nakamura. I'm gonna go no. I think Luffy's voice actor, especially in Japanese, is one of the best voice actors in an anime. And I feel like especially with Gear 5, the way she was voice acting and going as hard with the 12 Kizuki, you know, Odin's retainers. yeah, she really never misses. Shout outs to Gojo, but Gojo was sealed for most of the season. So to call him the best voice actor, of course, in the Hidden Inventory arc, you know, I'm the honored one. Definitely turned a lot of heads and was very impactful. But I would have went with Luffy's voice actor for sure. Aaron's voice actor is great and all, but I feel like even in that final season, he wasn't really acting that much anymore until we got to part 2. So I can see why he didn't get it. But I would have chose Luffy's voice actor here instead of Gojo's. Okay, best English voice actor. We have the Chainsaw Man, Ryan Colt Levy. Shout outs to him. I don't really watch too much dub anime. I don't even see my boy Zeno on this list. I think he was nominated, but if he was on this list, you know it's my boy Zeno. His range is still out the roof. Shouts out to the Chainsaw Man English voice actor, but you know, if Zeno was on this list, I would have chose him. All right, y'all, so that seems like all of the nominations and winners. You know, if you guys have different thoughts on who you think should have won or who should have been nominated. Again, I know Vinland Saga was robbed in many categories, but I felt the same way of Mob Psycho. So, you know, it is a popularity contest, and they allowed fans to vote every day throughout the whole time. So a lot of people might have forgot. I feel like that system's a little strangely rigged, but you know, until next year's awards, we have some other great anime dropping this fall and this year. So we'll see what happens next year. And with that, we'll see y'all next Sunday.